My mom died at 4:41 in the morning. I picked up the phone and I called my older brother to tell him. He answered on the first ring, and when I broke the news to him, he said, "I know." He told me he had just had a dream where his phone rang, and he answered it, and it was my mom, our mom. And all she said was, "Hi, Matthew." Then his phone rang for real, and it was me. My mom beat me to it. She wanted to be the one to tell him. She didn't want me to have to be the one to break the news. It was her last act of protecting us. It was the first sign, but it wasn't the last. I'm Ashley Raye, and this is Dying to Know, Episode 3. The story of losing my mom and what she's taught me since. I want to start at the very end. My mom was dying of cancer. It was November 2024. We were in the final hours, and our family sat with us for the majority of the day, talking, crying, even laughing at times as we reminisced. Late that night, they all left, and I tried to sleep. I was just so exhausted. Um, I'd been in the hospital for quite a few days um, because every time I went home, they called and told me my mom didn't have much longer left. I didn't get much sleep within those 3 days. So, like I said, I was exhausted. So I fell asleep probably around 11:30. And around 3:30 that morning, the nurse came to check on my mom, and it woke me up. So for the next hour, I talked to my mom about everything. Now, when I say I talked to her, I have to clarify that she was in such rough shape. They had to pretty much sedate her um, to keep her comfortable. Um, so she was more or less unconscious, but she was aware. So I was talking to her, but she was not talking back to me. Just wanted to clarify that. Um, I told her I was scared. I told her she was my best friend. I told her she was the best mom. And I told her how much I love her. And one of the last things I said was, "You can go. Just don't leave me. Give me signs I know without a doubt are you." And then she slipped away. I watched her take her last breath and go peacefully. It was just the two of us in that moment, just like it had been my whole life. It felt like my heart stopped too. Time froze, and suddenly everything was in slow motion. I frantically pushed the call button, and the nurses walked in and asked if she was gone. I knew she was, but all I could say over and over was, "I don't know. I don't know." One nurse held me as the other nurse called it. Part of me died too that day. If this is your first time here, I'm Ashley Raye, and this show is all about life, death, the afterlife, and grief, and everything else in between. In episode 1, I told you about my Uncle Ray, And in episode 2, I told you about an answered prayer. This episode is about my parents. I lost both of them in 2024, less than 6 months apart. It started with my dad. He was diagnosed with Goodpasture's syndrome, which is an autoimmune disease that attacks your lungs and kidneys. And in my dad's case, his eyesight. He was fiercely independent, a hard worker, a cook, and a jack of all trades. There was nothing my dad could not do. I didn't know about his diagnosis until a month prior to his passing, and I only knew the severity of things when my stepmom called me and told me he had been admitted. Only a month was all I had with him, and then he passed away. May 25th, 2024, and it tore me into pieces. I hit the lowest point of my life, and I was in the deepest pit of depression. The only thing that kept me going was my daughter and my mom. But not even 6 months later, I had to plan my mom's funeral. And that's all I got between one service and the other. 6 months. My mom was my best friend. She was my biggest supporter. She was brutally honest. She was an amazing cook. She was your typical old school Italian mom. She would feed everyone, take care of everyone. She loved to make people laugh. But she was also fierce and fearless too. Our bond was even fiercer. And that was proven true when she died. I told her she could go, but not to leave me. To give me signs I know without a doubt are her. And she did. Moments after she passed away, I called my brother to tell him, and she already did. It was his dream, but a sign for me too. That she wasn't gone. She was still watching over her kids, protecting us in death just as she did in life. That was her first sign, but certainly not her last. They got weirder, more specific, to the point I simply couldn't write them off. In the next episode, I'm going to tell you about the code she started using in my dreams and how I know without a doubt that it's her. But before I go, my question for you this week is, have you ever had a loved one come to you in a dream, a feeling, a moment, just when you needed them the most? Tell me about it. I had asked my mom to leave me signs I knew without a doubt were her. And I know without a doubt my brother's dream wasn't a dream. She wanted to be the one to tell him. She didn't want that burden to fall on me, the little sister. And she talks to me all the time still, leaving me signs I know without a doubt are her. There's no question in my mind it's not her. She gives me signs all the time, talks to me in ways that only the two of us would understand. It's kind of like inside jokes and codes from beyond. we'll get into that next week. But for now, I'm Ashley Raye, and this is Dying to Know, where we ask the questions that have no answers. Remember, I want to hear your stories too. So comment, DM me. If you've found me from Instagram, you can comment on my Instagram post or answer one of my stories. This show is all about sharing stories, and I'd love to share yours too. I hope to see you next time. This is Ashley Raye, and this has been Dying to Know.